Hello everybody and welcome to another exciting Arkham Horror video. Today we are going to be giving you another how-to guide, and that is how to lose Arkham Horror, the card game. In this guide we're going to have a variety of tips for players on how to lose Arkham Horror, the card game, because the game is challenging, but you really kind of like want to work to make sure you're getting the most out of your game, because the more you lose...
Yeah, part of the fun of playing Arkham Horror is losing and getting crushed. You want to maximize that value, that aspect of having fun.
And the game actually has a fail-forward mechanic, so no matter what, you get to keep playing, and you get more out of your game if you are actually losing.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta put in a little bit of work to chase the result you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're here to help make sure that you can always get the one you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not very horror if you're like not losing, right?
Yeah.
Bad things don't happen.
It's not called Arkham Picnic,
yeah,
right?
It's not.
Sometimes the best place to start is to look at assets that do similar jobs to other assets. So, Dr. Milan provides a great book boost, right? He does cost 4 resources, which...
Takes up your ally slot too. It takes up high cost as well.
Yeah, because there's a lot of competitive allies that exist in the game.
Yellow.
Yeah.
Like research librarian.
Yeah.
That guy's a house.
You
don't want to just discard him. So.
Yeah.
Art student.
Yeah.
But there are also alternatives, because 4 is a lot. So while there's good allies we actually have like a good replacement for Dr. Milan that we can present here. And that's hyper-awareness. So hyper-awareness is a 2-cost asset that you put into play, and it stays there forever when you put it into play. And also, it can't die to horror or damage.
Doesn't take up any ally slots?
Yeah.
Well, any slots at all?
Yeah, no hand slot, no accessory slot, no arcane slot, which would make sense for this in a way, but it doesn't have it. And as a lightning bolt, you can spend a resource to get a book or a foot, which is great if you need to evade or investigate. Yeah. So with hyper awareness, it only costs 2 resources and still boosts your book. So that means for cost of 4 resources, you actually get +2 book for a test. I have
That's twice as much as Dr. Milan.
Yeah, it is a double Dr. Milan for the same price. Yeah.
And like in the future, if you need foot, it'll give you that too.
Yeah. And I also noticed that I did make a mistake here. It's supposed to be +2 book, and hyper awareness has an extra S at the end. So,
Awareness.
I was just pretty excited to share this with everyone.
Yeah,
so
this is a pretty hot piece of tech. A lot of seekers only have like 1 or 2 foot.
Yes.
With this and most of your turn, you can buy your way into a testing footed, like probably even-ish.
Because like with Daisy,
it's pretty alright.
She's 2-footed.
Yeah, you'll be your plan is, if you get an enemy, to just try to evade it, right? And this will help you get through that enemy, right? Yeah, which is really good.
Yeah.
Every turn.
Every turn. It doesn't go away.
No.
It doesn't go away. All right. With all that said, don't worry about your deck's curve is too high. So curve is like
Cost your cards.
Cost your cards, and like Dr. Milan 4. But you can still play Dr. Milan. You just got to put a few other more like high cost cards to get like balance it out. You want your curve to be like, the higher your curve is, the better your deck is.
Well,
right?
The higher cost cards are better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there's always a way for you to get more resources, and that is the strongest action in the game, the gain a resource action.
Yeah. Yeah, the strength of this action mostly means that you don't even need to play economy cards in your deck, because why would you spend valuable deck space on that when you could just take more resources for your turn?
Yeah,
that's actually a great point, and goes into here. So, Emergency Cash is a good card. Everyone plays it. I play it today. You play it today. Just an action, gain 3 resources, but if you take 3 actions to gain 3 resources, it's kind of like you have an emergency cash in your hand at all times.
It's like playing emergency cash, it costs more actions, but it doesn't cost you any cards.
Yeah.
When your cards are going to be a high cost and high value, so you don't want them to be emergency cash. It's low cost, low value.
And like realistically, you want to use most of your cards to commit to tests anyway to pass them, right? Yeah, because passing tests is the most important part of this game, and you're going to want to commit what you have to it. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, you can't commit this at all.
That actually is a great point. So actually,
that's why I don't like this card, because you can put it into the Crystallizer of Dreams, but you can't ever get
it out
again.
Yeah,
it's stuck there forever.
It just takes up one of the slots.
So like really, you should be cutting any card in your deck that you can't commit for a test, because it does nothing then, right? It does nothing.
Sometimes.
Wow. I never thought about it like that before, but that is a good point. So with each action you take, you're going to want to ask yourself if you're progressing the game. And if you are progressing the game, ask yourself if you're progressing the game, and if you are progressing the game, you need to ask, why am I progressing the game, right? Because you could play a deduction, get a bunch of clues, or you could, I don't know, gain a resource, right?
Gain a couple of resources, make friends with an out-of-work actor.
You can't even play deduction. It doesn't have a cost at all.
That's true, yeah. So
It's not very high power.
Yeah, so what you really want is so you want to drop everything without skill icons, but then you want to drop everything without a cost.
Yeah.
Because you want to be able to play your cards. Because skills only have one use. You want all your cards to have at least 2 uses, right? Mm-hmm. That's the power of this game with the skill icons on them.
Especially with like the high cost assets and events.
Yeah.
Like the high cost events, okay, they may only be a one-shot thing, but they're usually worth it.
Yeah,
in my opinion. But
yeah.
I think that the why am I progressing in this game is particularly important, not just from a gameplay standpoint, but Arkham Horror is like a story-oriented game, so you really need to be constantly asking yourself, like, as the character you are, why am I doing this? Like, why am I trying to, stop Yog-Sothoth instead of just going home?
Why am I attending an after party for a play that I didn't really enjoy?
Yeah.
And then attempting to murder everybody there.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of these people. Like, and it's just like you gotta ask yourself those questions.
Yeah. What's here? Sharp things, possibly danger. What's at home? Tea,
blankets, book.
Yeah, just comfier. Yeah. Okay. Back to skill cards. So what to commit? Because this is a question that I've seen a lot of people ask. When should I commit cards? And I also see with new players, they're kind of like looking, should I commit this card in my hand? But we have some helpful tips for you to know when and why and how you should commit cards in your hand. First one is... Sorry, that's what I already said. Don't mind me. So we have some good examples here. We got some good examples. All right, so Agnes Baker. Let's say Agnes Baker with Pete Sylvester in play. Pete is a very good ally.
Shows up in a lot of Agnes decks.
Yeah, and you want to keep him safe. It's the most important thing you can do.
Yep.
But you just do a Rotting Remains, and you're kind of worried about Pete dying, because if you take 3 horror...
Well, it costs 3 resources, man.
Yeah, and you
want him in play.
Yeah, and like, horror on Pete can be bad because that means he can die. So you have a Ward of Protection in your hand. Note that Ward of Protection actually has a wild icon on it, which means you can commit it to the Rotting Remains test, going up 6-3, which is actually with Pete you're 7-3, which beats the -4, which on standard you always want to beat the -4. Yeah.
It's also possible that like maybe if there are Rotting Remains in the deck, you want to kind of keep your Pete in your hand so you can commit to the test.
Yeah, great.
Get the +1 brain instead of having to pay the 3 resources for it.
That's a great alternative. It also keeps Pete safe. Pete can't die.
Spending resources and other more important cards, higher cost cards.
Definitely. That's an excellent point. Next one we got here is, did you draw a swarm of rats that you need to kill? Remember, there's a -4 in the bag. So you want to commit a card with a lot of icons to ensure that you kill the rats. So Joe Diamond here sees the rats. He's a bit worried about the -4. He's going to commit the Eye of Truth in his hand.
Yeah. Like, he doesn't have a weapon, so...
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You gotta make sure you're killing these rats somehow, because if you don't kill the rats, eventually they kill you.
Yeah, it's true.
This one's really like sort of a test of like a statistics sort of deal, where like you say there's like 16 tokens in the bag, and obviously you're going to fail if you draw the auto fail, and if you're only up 3, then you're going to also fail on the -4. So by committing like the Eye of Truth for the +4 and negating that -4, then you like have the chances of you failing.
Yeah. Like, would you want to increase your chances of not getting hit by a car? Because that's like what we're looking at here, right?
Kinda.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're also just losing value if you don't kill the rats, because then they get to attack you every time you gain a resource this turn.
Yeah, that is actually very true.
A dangerous
or you have to spend more actions attacking them, but like...
But then that eats away your resources.
Exactly.
Your resource action,
You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You want them to die on your first action.
Yeah, and Eye of Truth ensures that.
It does.
Last one here is, sometimes you'll need to make tests that are important to your economy. While, yes, a basic resource action is very strong, a card like Burglary can get you 3 resources at the cost of a test, which is a pretty good rate. So you're going to want to look at committing cards with 2 wild icons, and we call those unexpected courages here.
Yeah.
That will help you pass those tests. So Trish here, desperate for some economy, has already taken 2 basic resource actions, decides to do Burglary as their last action, and commits the red clock in their hand, putting Trish at 6 to, let's say, a 2 Shroud, which is up 4.
Yeah, she really needs those resources to play her Leo DeLuca, so you can have 4 actions to take resources with.
Yeah, I know we just did tell you that you shouldn't play cards like Emergency Cash, but Burglary is much better than Emergency Cash because you can use it every turn.
Yeah.
It basically replaces one of your take a resource action for 3 resources.
Yeah.
Every turn.
And you don't really like, you go down a card goes out of your hand into play, but Emergency Cash goes out of your hand into your discard pile, and it's practically gone then.
Yeah, using it
Gone forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget that high experience cards have good icons on them. So red clock here, and also the Eye of Truth, also 5 experience. 4 wild icons.
That's so many.
That's a lot.
You see this on a lot of things, actually. Necronomicon has 5 book.
Yeah.
Flamethrower has like 2 fists and wild, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, those are all great things to commit to your test to help pass them.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a card of what to commit first, look for the high experience ones in your hand to commit.
Yeah, it'll save more cards in your hand because you have to commit fewer high experience cards.
Exactly.
To a test
Yeah.
than you would lower experience cards.
Yeah.
High experience cards also typically have lower cost, like resource-wise, which generally means that they're worse to play than your other higher cost cards.
Definitely. That's why Preston is one of the strongest investigators in the game, because his weakness costs 10.
Yeah.
Which means it's like
It's got to be strong.
it's got to be strong to balance his power
has
level,
to be.
right? Yeah.
Sorry, except for agency backup, which has a sky high cost and also costs 5 experience, which is very good.
Yeah.
Could go either way with that one.
Yeah.
We also have some deck ideas. So we had something understanding deck building in our previous series. So we're having some deck ideas to kind of get you going on this.
Yeah,
So
some new archetypes and stuff.
yeah, so these are some you might have heard of if you've watched our channel a few times. But we got Wendy Adams with Switchblade Zero and a baseball bat. Yeah.
Yeah, these are good for like you can fight, and you're more likely to succeed because you can just throw away another card to draw a different token if you don't draw the right one.
Yeah.
Especially with the baseball bat, you don't want to throw it away, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Another one is Diana Stanley with no cancels. Diana Stanley, she loves to cancel.
Honestly, the 3/3/3 stat line is one of the strongest in the game.
Yeah.
It lets you do kind of anything you want with a small bit of investment. So, like, there's no point in investing other cards into your brain score. You might as well just use your other 3 stats that are already, like, solid.
And we already know from example that rogues do very well with one brain or 2 brains. So Diana Stanley shouldn't really falter if she just stays 3/3/3s.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Yeah. And if you're not running cancels, you can run all the basic skill suites to kind of bump up that, because those replace themselves when you commit them to a test.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, they're actually 2 cards.
Yeah. Another one is Preston Fairmont and Norman Withers with only events in their deck. Once again, Preston Fairmont, one of the strongest. Norman Withers, he was printed twice, so that means that he's like double
Well, he's
good.
got to be twice.
He
as
is.
good.
Yeah, twice as good.
Plus, he lets you play events from the top of your deck.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they're also at -1 resource cost, so that means that you, like, effectively get 4 resource actions a turn.
Yeah, definitely.
It's real
Sort
good.
of. 3, because you actually have to play one of the cards. But
Yeah, but you still get to take the full 3
it's like he
resource
gives your
action.
cards fast.
Yes.
Your events fast.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
And then one more is just Jim Culver. He turns skulls into zeros.
That's great. That means that, like, you can commit your cards to other tests.
Yeah.
Ones you don't think you're going to draw the skull on.
Yeah. Or alternatively, if you really want to lose with Jim Sculver, just like build around his ability, right? Like just like try Nikosi, try Song of the Dead, try Curse of Aeons, try like anything, and you'll.
I like Curse Tokens a lot. It's like
Yeah.
for the low cost, having to draw 2 Curse Tokens, which like is very possible, and there's lots of Curse Token synergy in purple. You just get 0.
You just get a 0.
Just
Just
get
all
0.
those hoops, just get a 0.
Yeah, and all those purple cards like benefit you from drawing skull.
Yeah.
Turns them on every test.
Yeah.
No, the only real hard part about playing Jim Culver is knowing which tests you're gonna draw the skull on. But
Yep.
Practice will solve that.
Yeah,
you'll-
definitely.
You'll
Yeah,
get
you
you
just
start to
kinda
get a feel for it, and then you just don't commit cards to those tests because you don't need to.
You don't.
Yeah.
All right, to close out this guide, we have some board states, some puzzles, some Arkham Horror puzzles, if you will.
Yeah, we talked about this one, like decision making or something like that.
This is some advanced decision making, some more tips on how to lose more. So, you are Zoe, and Rex just drew a hunting night gaunt. So I'm gonna take a few seconds. Is there anything that you guys would like to do here? Because I kind of have like my thought of what I would do.
Well, I mean, Zoe clearly doesn't have any resources, but also probably not a weapon because we
Yep.
can't see one.
That is true. Yeah, this is our.
You got to either gain resources or draw cards to find a weapon.
Yeah.
So I'm a little more a team player here. First, I would ask Rex to take his turn and see if he can evade the night gaunt.
Yes.
So that way
That's
he's gonna
fair.
get
He's
hit by
got
it.
he's got a pretty hefty
3 foot.
3 foot.
Yeah, that's
he's got
good.
3 foot.
If he's got a hyper awareness, he can probably just take a couple of attacks of opportunity to gain some resources and buy his way past that test.
Yeah.
And if he can't, I would probably move to his location and spend my turn drawing cards so I can help him fight that night gaunt when he attacks it with
Yeah.
all the fist symbols of my guardian cards.
Yeah, I think those are great ideas. For me personally, I would just take 3 resources
That's fair.
because
You don't have a weapon, you need to pay for one.
yes, I don't have a weapon in my hand, but now if I draw a weapon during the upkeep, I'll have the money for it. Yeah,
Yeah. Blue cards are expensive,
they are.
They are.
Yeah.
That's why they're so
which
good.
is why they're strong.
Yeah. And this is also actually, so another thing is my weapon of my choice in the deck is definitely Blackjack. So if I miss against Rex,
Right.
I won't hurt him.
Really?
Right,
Right.
thinking ahead.
I actually play the Winchester in Zoe, so if I draw the
Oh,
star,
that's a
I
good-
get
yeah,
to
yeah.
do like 4 damage.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
huge.
Really cool.
Yeah.
One shot that night gaunt.
Yeah. All right, so you have 4 resources on a 2-shroud location with 3 clues. And as Roland Banks, you have a Keen Eye permanent in play. So what would you guys do in this situation?
Any cards in hand or anything like that?
No, no cards in empty-handed. Yeah, this is all we know. And there are clues on the location, even if I didn't put them in the image.
Okay. Honestly, I would probably just draw cards from my deck to try and draw an ally so that I could play it.
Yeah.
At East Town, allies cost 2 less.
Yeah.
So if I spend 3 actions drawing cards and one of them is the ally, then it's like I took 2 resources.
Yeah, definitely.
With those other actions, which is
But you also
high
have the
value.
three cards in your hand.
I do, yeah.
Commit to your test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Brent?
Yeah. Well, like I want to beat a -4 because those are scary. So
Yep.
like I might just take some resources and like
Juice the test.
juice up the last test so
Yep.
that I beat the -4.
That's exactly what I would do. I would take 2 resources, gets me to 6, because then on my last action I can use Keen Eye 3 times, put my book up to 6, beat the -4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good too. No, see, these like differences in opinion what make this game really great.
Yeah,
Is that
definitely.
there's like no wrong way to play it.
No, absolutely not.
And
I mean, like, even if you just took 3 resources actions here, I would definitely think that would be okay.
yeah, that'll set you up for next turn.
Yeah.
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 To take another resource, then you can beat a theoretic -5, or like take 2 more resources if there's a curse token in the bag.
Yeah. All right, one last puzzle. I think this one's pretty easy. I think this one might be a bit easy, but so the game starts and you have this absolutely killer hand after taking your mulligan. Dr. Milan Christopher, magnifying glass, pathfinder, deduction, cryptic research. What would you do?
I'd probably investigate Miskatonic University and commit all 3 of my book symbols.
Oh, that's a great line. Yeah. Yeah.
After that, I would probably just move around and look for more locations to commit cards to. More like I'm playing Rex. I wanna discover clues.
Yep.
This is what I'm
Yeah.
here to do.
Yep.
That's just me. But
Yeah, I'm not too hot on the idea of running Dr. Milan in my deck, but like if he's there, I think what we do is we play him. We play the magnifying glass, burning all of our money. Play cryptic research and hope that we drew cards that we can throw at tests.
Yep.
If we didn't, just gain some more money because we've just spent it all. So
Yeah.
we need to have more to
Sure.
be able to pay for the cards that we drew with cryptic research.
I might also play cryptic research on like one of my teammates, like my monster fighter, in case that we draw an enemy during the encounter phase. That way they'll have cards to commit to the tests.
Yeah. So for this one, actually, I was trying to like hide a little something in it because we had that question earlier. If you're progressing the game, you have to ask, why am I progressing the game? So I chose this location in specific because for me personally, I'd look at resigning.
That's a bold strategy.
I would just go home with my tea and my blanket and my book, and I'd read.
Yeah.
I've never met Professor Rice. Why would I look for him? That's a great point. I totally glossed over
you got to
that.
think ahead. You got to think about the whole picture. Like, why does Rex care?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You also get to dodge the possibility of walking out of this scenario with a trauma.
Yep,
That doesn't
exactly.
happen.
Yep. And I mean, you're already on scenario 2 when you have at least 5 experience in your deck. Like,
you're
you're
doing
set
great.
for the rest of the campaign.
Crushing it.
Probably
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, and it's actually funny because if you do miss one of these, you actually might get more experience from losing out on.
You might have to fail forward mechanics.
Yeah.
That's fair,
So
that's
you
fair.
always can fail forward. And that is that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video has helped you understand how you can lose Arkham Horror more. And thanks for watching our How to Lose series. We'll be back very soon for another exciting episode. Huge thank you to all of our patrons. Have a good one. And as always, a GG's.